Welcome to the greatest zero game show on earth. Can you guess the test? It's the greatest zero game show on earth because it's the only zero game show on earth, all right? So this is an interactive game show where contestants are given a choice between two A/B test treatments, and they have to guess which test is right. So you may be asking, why is this show interactive? It's because of you, the audience. And so hopefully as the audience comes in, the audience can now go in and help the contestants make the right choice by commenting on which variation they think is the winner. And it's actually what makes this show so damn amazing. So let's get on to the intros. So for those who do, for those who don't know me, my name is Anthony Wallace, and I'm the founder of the Stupid Simple e-commerce blog. I've recently gone from entrepreneur to intrapreneur, and I'm working as a CRO manager at the Shopify agency Prela. And now I'm going to let my esteemed co-host Deborah introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. So for those who don't know me, I'm a top A/B testing influencer. I'm recognized as a leading women CRO specialist, and I founded the go-to A/B test case study resource, Guess the Test, where many of the tests that we're doing, and 3 of the tests that we're going to go through today, are coming from. So you get an inside sneak into Guess the Test, and you get to find out the answers.
All right.
And
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
go ahead. I
So
was going to say, and now for our CRO contestants.
yes, our CRO contestants. All right, so we have 3 great people here today. We have our previous champion, the great Linda Bustos from Edgacent and Ecom Ideas. You can give the audience a big wave. We also have the amazing Slobadan Manić from nohacks.show in the building, so we can also give them a big wave as well. Just let them know who you are. And we, last but not least, we have Joshua Vizzacco from Art of the Cart, ready to show off his CRO skills as well. Give them a big wave. There you go. These are industry vets, and they know their stuff when it comes to CRO, but can they guess the right test? All right, we're going to find out. Now, I'm going to let you guys know the banter on LinkedIn has been great here, right? So we have a lot of back and forth here. Everybody has their gloves on. We're ready to get this party started. There's a lot of talking mess, talking smack on LinkedIn, and I love it. I personally love it because it's what makes this show so special. So let's get right to it.
Absolutely, I agree. Before we get into it, Linda, if you want to just tell us a few words about yourself as the returning champion, what made you shine and what makes you so great, and whether or not you're going to keep the returning champion status, let us know.
So it's just dumb luck and a little bit of tiger blood. So just it's tough competition today, but you know, it's all about intuition. So we'll see who's got it today.
Okay, and Sunny, I've heard never trust your gut. What do you think?
Never trust your gut. Also, I support what Anthony said. Previous champion. Let's end this.
Let the trash talking begin. And Joshua, how are you going to step in and sideswipe everyone? What is your strategy?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I'm not like a formal CRO. I'm more on the brand and user experience design side of the equation. So I'm curious to see how that stacks up against the other.
Interesting. May give you the ultimate advantage here. And we have participants coming in. So welcome to our participants. If you want to let us know in the chat where you're calling in from today, we'd love to hear it. And we are going to get into the game show. Anthony, tell us the rules.
All right, so we have 3 rounds where contestants will guess which variant of each A/B test is they think is the winner. Each round will have a different time limit. I kind of took away the time limit for this one, so we're not going to do the time limit, but we will have a point total for each round. So round 1, we will have 5 points. Round 2, we will have 8 points, and round 3, we will have 12 points. Now, there might be a round 4 where we have a tie-breaking question if needed, and then we might have to go to double overtime if needed, and each and every game show so far has went into double overtime. So let's see if we can do this again.
All right. So today's theme is about as hard as you can get. It is literally a 50-50 coin toss, and you can see Sunny is slowly holding up his coin here. And that may, Sunny, be your winning strategy. If you flip the coin and go with heads or tails, you may just win. So these are super tough tests. There's no immediately obvious answer, which is going to make it a lot of fun. But it's up to you 3 contestants to see if you can guess the right test. And audience, you are welcome to jump in and sway the contestants. You're welcome to groupthink and make them go one direction or another. We really want to have you participate in this. So we are looking for. And Joshua, you already have a fan. Maro is saying, I'm rooting for you, Joshua. So well
There you
done.
go.
All right, so
So
we're gonna let the
I would
coin
say
toss
one thing.
begin.
I looked over the test a few days ago, and they seem simple when you look at them, but be aware, not all of them are as
Is that
simple
a
as they
hint?
seem.
That's a hint. That's the biggest hint you get.
That's the biggest hint that you'll get.
All right, so for our very first test, this is a copy test. So we are looking at the wording, did get a quote or get pricing win? And this is in the nav button. We want to know which worked better. So here we are, we have a website for Culligan Water. It's a water supplier across North America. And here the button says get a quote. Here, the button says get pricing. Now I'm going to have you guess in a second, but I'll tell you a little bit more about the test. So they were trying to get sign up conversions to either get people to sign up to get a quote or get pricing. The goal of the test was to increase form submissions with the sign up. The audience was from a variety of sources, organic, direct, search, referral, but this is a very important but. They were local homeowners in the mid to high income bracket in southern New Hampshire. And I saw we have a couple people from New Hampshire here, so you might have the advantage. So keep that in mind when you guess. These were local homeowners in a very local and very specific demographic, and that influenced things. I'm not going to tell you how or why, but that did influence things. And as I mentioned, it was for Culligan, the water treatment and services company. So here again is what the screenshots look like. Version A, get a quote. Version B, get pricing. Now, contestants, I'd like you to lock in your answer by sending me a private message in the chat. And I see Sonny has cast his vote.
Can we ask any
That was
follow-up
quick.
questions, Deborah?
You are welcome to ask questions. Yes, now is the time to ask questions.
What was the result if you click through to this button? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so you would end up on a sign up page. The get a quote looked slightly different than get a pricing, but it was similar in that you signed up and it was essentially a lead capture, and then somebody would contact you to either give you a quote or pricing.
Was the offering more of a service or a product?
So it's a service and a product. It was to get bottled water delivered to you. But the user didn't really know exactly what they were signing up for by landing on the site. They were coming to the site because they needed help with their water quality, either bottled water or reverse osmosis or things like that. But they only knew that this was kind of the main way to contact. They could either call or they could click this CTA button here in the top nav.
Seems like a pretty unique offering.
It is, yes. And the local audience did make a difference in this case. All right, so I see all of you contestants, you've locked in your answers, and we have, just looking here, we have a couple of different answers, so that's good. Audience, I'd love to hear from you. I'm seeing a few A's and a few B's. Mauro, if you want to turn on your microphone, or if you're not comfortable with that, just type in the chat and let us know why you went with A.
Yes, for me, it seems get a quote is more specific, and someone who's more local might want something more specific. But this was a very tough choice, and it does seem very hard. But I went with A, and it seems like being more specific would win a test.
Okay, so more specific. David, you went with B. You seem to have a different rationale. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, on like a SaaS site, I know people really hammer the pricing links. So I figured, maybe it'd be kind of a similar thing here.
Okay, so specifically to cater to them and give them pricing.
Yeah. More
Kind
specific.
of go in for the kill and give them what they want. Okay, Sunny, we're gonna start with you. Tell us what you chose and why.
I chose A, get a quote number one because it was tails, and that's A for me. So that was like a no-brainer.
Okay.
And number
so
two,
Sunny just flipped a coin. He doesn't even know
Boom.
what he.
you told me to flip a coin. You literally did. Basically, because it's local, and when I'm looking for someone local to help me with something, I think it's gonna be a quote because that's how it works. And also the high income, mid to high income. I don't know. Quote sounds more mid to high income than pricing to me.
Okay, interesting. Linda, let the trash talking begin. Is Sunny right or wrong?
Well, I agree with Sonny. So, the reason why is because, like, I think of get pricing, like you mentioned, you get to a form, right? So if you click through get a quote, I expect that a person's going to call me or I'm going to get some person tailoring something to me. If I click on get pricing, I feel like that form would be I'm signing up to get past a gate to then see a page of pricing. That's kind of how it came off to me. So I went with get a quote.
Okay, fair. That makes a lot of sense. And Joshua, where are you sitting with this?
I think I'm feeling B, because it's not a super common service or product offering. And my assumption is that there might not be a lot of companies doing this where you would get multiple quotes. You might want to just get some prices.
Okay. Okay, fair. All right, we're going to reveal the answer in just 1 second, but I want to welcome the new attendees who just came into the game show. Thank you for joining us, Todd, Joel, Shirley. Hello. Great to see you. So we are going to reveal the answer. Are you ready to find out if you guessed the right test? Anthony, cue up the music. Dun, 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 dun. And the answer is A. So well done to everyone who guessed version A. So this created an astounding 104% lift in form submissions simply by changing the wording to get a quote at 96% statistical significance. Now the sample size was not reported and 104% lift is big. So you have to take the results with a little bit of a grain of salt. But because the lift was so big, this definitely shows strong directional data that get a quote did indeed work best. So what is going on here? Well, if you guessed version B, you weren't entirely wrong. This was a very, very local study. And the testing agency who ran the test actually found that in places where customers can purchase only high-end water treatment solutions like reverse osmosis machines and things like that, and could not get bottled water, the phrase get a quote actually converted better. But in this specific local market where people could only buy bottled water, get a pricing actually tended to work best. So, you know, if you guessed version B, it was a local market decision and really truly 50-50. In New Hampshire, where some of you are calling in from today, bottled water isn't offered. Now, you probably wouldn't know that unless you're in New Hampshire. But because of that, site visitors can only purchase expensive water filtration systems. And the price of these systems is not shown on the website. So interested leads needed to actually speak with a sales rep to find out more. So that's kind of really what swayed the results. And I think big takeaway for all of us is you really, really need to know your audience and cater to local markets. Speak the language that they want to hear because that's what's going to work best. Any thoughts or comments on this? Were you surprised by this result? I see a lot of smiles, but I'm not hearing anyone say anything. Linda, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that just points to like hyper personalization, right? Like it can get as granular as your zip code or other elements like that. So you have to know your customer really well. And I think there's a lot of these hidden little Easter eggs in people's sites that nobody even thinks about.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, especially at Easter coming up. All right. So, Anthony, where do people stand?
All right, so we have 5 points for Slobadan. Sorry, the point hasn't updated. I thought it was going to be able to update, but we have 5 points for Slobadan, and we have 5 points for Linda, and we have unfortunately 0 points for Joshua.
All right, so Linda, you still potentially are in the lead, and Sunny, you're coming in. Joshua, you still have the chance to shift everyone.
So.
Yes, indeed, and we'll update those point totals shortly. All right, so on to our next test. This again is a really 50-50 split. The answer is as good as a coin toss, Sunny. You may as well just flip the coin because it's not an obvious answer. And now we're looking at with or without the image in the menu and which version won. So here we have, now this is a Dutch lottery site. It's for I hope I'm saying this right, Staatslotterie, which is the oldest lottery system in the world. They actually started the lottery system. And lottery means luck in Dutch, I believe. I think that's right. And here they're trying to get people to buy lottery tickets. And they said, what happens if we add a special offer within our drop-down mega menu system? And translated to English, this says, tip 10 tickets, guaranteed prices, see the tickets is what the CTA says. Exact same nav experience in version B, but no special offer in the mega menu, just links into the different sections of the site. So before you guess, I'll tell you a little bit more about the test. So obviously they were trying to get people to buy lottery tickets and increase revenue on the site. And the goal was to see, does it work to have this graphical CTA in the mega menu, or does it distract and hinder, navigation deeper into the site? It was all traffic and primarily lottery ticket players, people who wanted to win big, just like today. And it was for Staatslotterie. Now, what do you think wins? Does it help to have a special CTA in the mega menu and point and direct people towards that CTA, or does doing so distract and deter people from going deeper into the site or scrolling down the site? What do you think? So I'm going to go with you. First of all, contestants, lock in your answer. I see Sunny's locked in.
Can we ask a question?
You can absolutely ask questions.
Was
Yes.
mobile traffic included in here, or this is desktop state only?
Yes, that's a good question that I can't remember, to be honest, off the top of my head, but I think it was desktop and mobile together. It was for sure desktop, just based on the screenshots.
Okay.
What's the top category that this is under in the nav?
Yeah, so if somebody could read Dutch, they would be able to tell us, but it was within the drop-down menu, and whatever, I can't read Dutch and I'm not going to try, but whatever that first item is, it was kind of like the main menu. And I'm pretty sure as well that this offer, the special offer, was put into each of the different nav sections.
Okay.
So that any menu item, it would see it. But the test truly was, do we include this in the mega menu, or do we get rid of it because it's distracting? Okay, so I see Linda has locked in her answer. I see Sunny has locked in his answer, and Joshua has now locked in his answer. Okay, so contestants have locked in their answer. I would love to hear from you, game show participants. Which version do you think won? Go ahead and put A or B. And Joel, you guessed A. Tell us your thoughts. If you want to type in your answer or turn on your microphone, you're welcome.
What I would say version A is the point that they just gave it straight up, and they gave the bonus straight up, and people can see it and just convert in ASAP. It's not like you are scrolling and scrolling to convert. You can just convert from the drop-down menu or something. That's what I feel.
Okay.
Reducing, yeah.
Okay, fair. And Josh Silverbaugh, you guessed version B. You were a little hesitant. You went, I think version B. What were you thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably, in any other circumstance, guess A, but then you were like, oh, it's not obvious. So I started going back in my head of, which one it could potentially be. And then I'm going to go with the B because it's the less obvious one. And so I'm really just trying to understand the psychology of, what you're putting out there. I have no idea.
Okay, fair. So it was like that second guessing doubt kind of thing. Okay, that's absolutely fair. Sunny, tell us what you guessed and why.
Yeah, what I was thinking was, like, this is, you said, the oldest lottery system in the world. So I'm guessing the website is as it has been for several years, probably, and people are used to how it works. So adding stuff can only add confusion and clutter and just, cause the conversions to drop. But
that's interesting. That's a really great point. So just to sort of counter that a little bit, because we haven't had much trash talk, to be honest, and I was hoping and expecting it. You're sort of right. It is an older site, but they're always testing. They're always optimizing. There's changes all the time. And this was one of them that they tested. All right, Linda, let's hear some trash talk and your answer.
Well, I'll need to think a little harder on the trash talk because these guys are so nice. But on this test, I picked B because the 10 tickets kind of seemed like a massive upsell. I know like some people, this was me making an assumption that some lottery players like would rather play less but consistently than, this big upsell. And also the mobile state, I wasn't quite sure if that would dilute the results. So to be safe, I went with B.
Okay, fair. And Josh.
Yeah, I also went with B. I was feeling like this CTA. First of all, I really do like having imagery and call to actions in mega menus generally. But in this case, I felt like it's kind of a specific product. It's a little confusing. It might be because of the translation. And then also, again, to Linda's point, on mobile, we don't really know what that actually looked like. And I would imagine that it got sort of pushed down in the menu quite a bit and wouldn't be leading to too much click through. So that's why I'm going to go with B.
Okay, all right. So B across the board, and the big reveal. Dun, 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 dun. Version! Oh! Okay, now the trash talking can begin because you all got it wrong.
Trash talk ourselves.
Damn.
I think the audience needs to trash us because the audience.
Audience, do you hear that?
Got it
That's your
right.
cue. Let the trash talking begin.
Let the
So
trash talking
actually,
begin.
including the CTA in the nav, increased purchases 4.3%. And that led to a 28% lift in revenue per visitor. Now, these results have a statistically significant effect at 99% confidence, but it is based on a small sample size of only 3,500 visitors. So, again, take the results with a grain of salt, but these strong lifts show directionally that this probably had a positive impact on purchases and on lottery ticket revenue. So we can kind of go with it and say, yes, in this case, the CTA actually worked. It didn't distract. It geared people towards clicking to get that special offer. So are you surprised?
Not really.
Not
I mean,
really.
you wouldn't have to
Well,
get
yeah.
too many conversions. Like it's a 10x upsell, right? So you don't even have to get that many more relatively, right? Like you sell 10x in that testing set. Now you've bumped revenue up by quite a bit.
Right. Griffin, you said you were surprised. Tell us why.
For some of the reasons that some of the contestants voiced, in my experience, working with customers at Optimizely, the simpler the menu, the better. And so, yeah, I was surprised that cluttering the menu would lead to more conversions. But then again, it is, a direct click through to buying the product. So, in some ways, you can't have enough of those. So it was a toss up for me, but I said B.
Okay, fair. Well
To be
done.
honest, I would have said B too because I hate mega menus. When I look at mega menus, I'm like, this is just too confusing and too cluttering and too many options. But that's just me.
Yeah. So I think the takeaway from this test really is truly test whether adding an offer in your mega menu helps or hurt conversions, because it really could go either way. In this case, I think the added element kind of oriented visitors towards the conversion activity and focused them in on that specific thing, especially with the graphic. It just kind of more immediately resonated. But do test, because I've seen tests that go both ways, and sometimes having that offer can help and sometimes it can hinder.
To be fair to us, Deborah,
yes,
having it in Dutch and not knowing the category.
That's true.
It's true. That's true. That is very
It's
true.
a little tricky.
That is true. Well, we'll try and have
No
English
excuses,
tested,
guys. No excuses.
If you're going to add special offers in your mega menu, make sure that you don't have too many competing graphical CTAs, because then you will for sure create distraction or confusion, especially on mobile. So, test it out, but it is a really smart thing, an easy thing to test. If you're looking for test ideas, you can kind of really draw in your visitor, get them into a specific point in your funnel with a CTA in your nav like this. Any thoughts, any questions?
And the real lesson here is don't gamble, right?
There you go. So Sunny,
We're all
that
on a
coin
game
that you're
show.
tossing around.
I won that gambling.
You won
Yeah.
it. There you go. And Josh says he's glad he doesn't have money on this. Sonny, I think you're going to have to give your coin to the winner here. Maybe the lucky coin.
Or keep it, or keep it.
Or keep it. There you go. All right. So how are we sitting? Oh, that's weird, Anthony. I see on our version.
Something is happening with our point system, but
Okay.
we are still in a tie, right? So we still have Slobadan with 5 points. We have Linda with 5 points at the moment, and unfortunately, Josh is still with 0. All right, but we still have one more round, guys. So this is it. Let's kick it into gear. Let's figure this thing out.
Okay, great. So last color test of the year. Does button color still matter in 2024, or is it totally irrelevant, and can we no longer learn from button color tests? That is the question for you. So we're going to look at yellow or orange and which version wins. Now, this is an interesting study. In fact, I did a whole Experiment Nation talk on this study because there's so much to learn from button color still in 2024. But for now, I want you to guess yellow or orange. It's as simple as that, but you know, it's actually much more complex. So let's look at it, the details a little bit. So what they were trying to do is increase click-through rate, get people to click on this register now button. They wanted to get more people signing up for email updates. This was for a housing development in the Greater Toronto area in a place called Whitby, and they were starting housing developments and wanted people to sign up to get more information. And the traffic was everyone who was interested in buying a new home through Minto, which is a real estate development corporation. It's a Canadian real estate development corporation. So based on that, which button color wins, yellow or orange? And I'm going to ask you to lock in your answers. I see Linda has locked in. I see Sonny has locked in, but he says no idea. And Joshua has locked in as well. So we have a little bit of divergence in the answer. It really truly is 50-50. But let's see, Mauro, you guessed version A. Tell us your thinking.
Yellow seems more appropriate because color does have some psychology behind it, and yellow seems more right. I'm going with my guts here. It seems more fitting for this kind of website than orange. That's why I chose.
Fair. Okay. So going with the gut. Josh Silverborough, you guessed version B. Emphatically, you said B. It's B.
Leaning in this time, I'm going with my gut. I don't know, that orange just makes me want to click it, you know, and that I'm just, you know, I feel like I want to click that orange and that yellow, and I'm like, oh, I could skip it. So that's why I was
Right. Okay. So it kind of almost turns you away a little bit. Now, Griffin said something about color contrast within the CTA button itself. Here, the text is black, and here the text is white. Did that have an effect on anyone? I see Linda and Josh both nodding their head. Josh, tell us your thinking.
Yeah, I think I picked A first of all, and if I'm wrong, that's fine because I'm a stickler for web compliance, and this one passed web compliance. So, but I do feel like the orange one stands out a lot more. You know, just to be clear.
Right.
But I would, as a design perspective too, visual design, I think the yellow with the black fits in more aesthetically as well. I'd be curious to see like how often are these button colors being used, at what point in a user journey is a user, and it like, have they experienced seeing this button in multiple places at this point and are used to it? Those would be some of my considerations.
Okay, those are all really great points, and web accessibility is super important and just becoming more and more important as we go along. So excellent points. Sonny?
Yeah, I think text color to background contrast is not good enough on either one of these buttons, just for accessibility. I think they're not good. But as Josh Silverbauer said, the yellow one is just, ugh, I don't want this. It just looks weird in this page.
It kind of turns you off a little bit.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah.
And Linda?
I went with A. I mean, despite it kind of looks like immediately the orange one, I can't even read it on the screen what it says. I know it says register now, but it's a bit blurry. I felt like the orange with the white text was not going to be as easy for people to read, and also orange kind of communicating sale and cheap, even though the goldenrod with black is kind of Amazon colors, which also could be, but Amazon is like not necessarily cheap. It's, you know, membership and all that kind of stuff. So I felt like for the demographic and just more the upscale kind of vibe, this gold color with more easy to read black type is what I picked.
Okay, interesting. So you're kind of going off a little bit of color psychology, knowing that orange generally means cheap or discount, and gold usually sort of has a connotation of a little bit more premium value. And then you're looking at connotation a little bit, or sorry, at contrast a little bit as well, although both of them are bright and bold, high contrast colors, which is really the design principle that we want to be using. And Joel's saying orange means cheap with a question mark. Linda, do you want to address that point?
Well, like reds and oranges, you know, at least in North America, it's kind of, you know, the Targets of the world and, you know, fast food and all that kind of stuff. So I felt like on the left, it was more of a, you know, more of an upscale, sophisticated kind of color scheme.
Yeah, definitely. And so for, you know, anyone who's not aware, there's all sorts of really fascinating color psychology research out there looking at what people perceive when they see different colors and different combinations of colors. And orange absolutely is associated with discounts, with things like Home Depot and home hardware, home furnishing stores, some fast food restaurants, that kind of thing. So it has this utilitarian kind of cheaper vibe to it, whereas a golden color sort of suggests more premium, upscale, that kind of thing. And when you have black and gold mixed together, that's kind of luxury items. So if you're interested in color psychology, there's tons of research on it, and it's really, really interesting to test and integrate into your web scheme and color patterns. But that may very well have influenced things. So should we cue up the music, Anthony, and reveal the last question, the answer? Are we ready? Boom. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying here. I'm sorry. I was going off two different versions and this one didn't have the answer. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. Uh-oh. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I will pull up the actual test itself. We're gonna go into it. I wanted to discuss it anyway because there's a whole bunch going on here. The answer is version A. So well done for those version A's. Yay.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness I got one.
Now, as you can see in the poll results here, people were very, very divided. This was a true toss-up, Sunny. Your coin worked. Version A won, but the caveat is mostly. It actually differed based on desktop, based on mobile. And what I didn't tell you is they didn't just test yellow and orange, they actually also tested navy blue and teal. And they did that across desktop and mobile. But there's a bunch of problems with this study because they tested different controls across desktop and mobile. As we discussed, it's a test with acne because they have both a black CTA here and a white CTA, so we don't really know if it was the button color or the text color. It was a small sample, and they created a whole bunch of variants, a total of 8 variants across a very small sample. So the results are really not all that valid, and they ran the test as a multi-arm bandit, which some people say is okay, and other people say don't do it, absolutely don't do it, and they stopped the test pretty early. So as a result of that, it's very tricky because we don't actually know if it won because of just chance or if we won because one color actually outperformed. But what this tells us is that still in 2024, you can test something as simple as a button color and still not get it right. If you introduce too many variants, if you stop a test too early, if you introduce a test with acne like they've done here, if you don't keep the control and the treatment consistent across different versions or devices, you can totally massively screw up a test. So that is the big takeaway for you. And that is something, as all experimenters, we should learn not to do. So while button color tests are regarded as the bane of CRO testing existence, and they used to be cool, like wearing denim on denim used to be, now we're too embarrassed to talk about it. But you can still derive really, really excellent learnings out of a button color test of what not to do to test properly or improperly. So you want to make sure to avoid all those things. The principle that seems to have emerged, and I discovered this back in about 2014 after looking at several button color tests, I said, oh, okay, I get it. It's not the color. It's not about green or orange or purple. It's about how bold and how high contrast the button is. You want it to jump off the page. You want to be able to see it as the first thing you see when you navigate onto the page. And one of the things that I love to do when I look at tests to determine, you don't even need to run an A/B test. You go 5 steps back like this, and you close your eyes and open them, and you notice what's the first thing I see on the page. And if it's not the button, then it's not bold enough, it's not high contrast enough, and it's not clear enough on the page. And so rather than even testing button color, you can do what I call the 5-second, 10 steps back test and see if button jumps off the page or not. If not, then you want to try fooling around with contrast, and you can test that. But whether you should test button color or not, it can still hold value if you're testing properly. Any thoughts or comments on that?
Recount. Like, this is an inconclusive test.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Josh, any thoughts?
It's always just an interesting conversation as someone who sits more on the visual design side of the equation and like brand application. It's interesting to like figure out where you should draw the line between like trying to get that extra click through and just sort of breaking the overall aesthetic and like the essence and quality that a brand might be trying to convey in their design, because you start introducing buttons, to Linda's point, that feel like too salesy, you could possibly be diminishing the overall effect of the site in general, and that's something that's a lot harder to measure, right? So I'm just curious about it. It's an interesting topic and something that you need to walk that line pretty finely.
Okay, good point. And Linda, final words? Some trash talk, maybe?
I've got no hate for button tests. I see a lot of hate on it online and on LinkedIn. I would say it's done, it's over, they don't work. But hey, there's nuance to everything. This proves it.
Yeah, for sure. And, as the most important takeaway for everyone listening today, run your tests properly. Even something as simple as a button test can be run wrong. You can massively screw it up. So, start with button tests if you're new to testing, but do it properly. Otherwise, you're not going to get very meaningful results. And if you put on a game show and ask people the right answer, they're going to be really upset at you because there's not really a true right answer. All right. So where does that leave us, Anthony?
All right. So on this last one, if I'm not mistaken, Slobadan and Joshua got the questions right, and Linda did not.
No, I was wrong.
So Slobadan was wrong, and Linda
Sonny,
and
you're
Joshua.
not supposed to admit that.
No.
All right. So if that is the case, that means Linda is our winner once again. If she got the last one right, so that means Linda has 17 points. Joshua came in with 12 points, and Slobadan has 5 points.
All right, so we have the opportunity to throw Linda off her throne, and we're going to do a final skill testing question. And this is testing your knowledge of stats terminology. Todd, who's on the call today, he actually helped me a lot with stats when I was first getting into it. And he kind of coached me through some of these terms and the understanding of them. So Todd, a big shout out to you. Thank you. So today's question is, what is a type 2 error in A/B testing? And this is a multiple choice. You're going to select the best answer that fits. So that should say type 2. I'm sorry, that's a typo there. A typo. Type 2 error in A/B testing is A, also known as a false positive, claiming there's a conversion difference when there's really not, or B, also known as a false negative, claiming there's no conversion difference when there really is. Or is it C, when you fail to reject the null hypothesis and instead accept the alternative hypothesis? Or D, when the test doesn't reach statistical significance, but the test calculator says it did. So what is a type 2 error in A/B testing? Go ahead and put your answer. I see Sunny has cast his vote, Linda has cast her vote, and Joshua, it's all on you.
Do not use Google to search.
And you, yes, you lose points. Points. We're going to be monitoring your eye movements, making sure you're not going to another screen.
This is so outside of my wheelhouse, this
All
one.
right, so you're going to have to flip a coin like Sunny's been doing and see if you can actually guess.
4-sided coin.
All right,
Okay.
and I see a couple of the audience members are being brave enough to guess.
You're still
And
talking about
Joshua
Danny.
has cast his vote. All right, so do you want to explain your rationale? Joshua, you're outside of your wheelhouse. You went with version C. What was you thinking?
I don't know.
Yes, it's a complete guess.
Linda is proudly drinking her tiger's blood right now.
Just didn't seem like a type 1 for some reason.
Okay, yeah, type 2, there's a typo in the slide here. Linda and Sunny, you both guessed version B. Tell us your thinking.
I mean, it just is. Like, I don't know. No, last time the question was what type 1 is. It's false positive. So,
right.
Maybe false negative.
Okay. And Linda? Good guess, or did you know? You just knew. Okay, so this is the kind of thing, I get these confused all the time, and I have to go back and reference things because I can never remember. But in this case, Anthony, do you want to cue up the music? The answer is B. So well done, Sunny and Linda. Also known as a false negative. So it's when you claim there's no conversion difference when there actually is. You don't want to do that because then you miss out on test gains. So as a reminder, we saw last time a type 1 error is when the doctor tells the old man he's pregnant. Clearly not the case. Type 2 error is when the nurse says, you're not pregnant, and clearly she is. So we don't want to say there's no conversion difference or no pregnancy, no gain when there actually is, because we miss out on really valuable, test outcomes if we do that. So we put in all these different parameters in place to try and limit type 1 and type 2 errors. But the ultimate thing we need to do is have a large enough sample size to be able to measure these things properly.
Yep.
There we go. All right, so Linda, it's pretty clear. You pull ahead major. I think that would probably be a statistically significant difference.
We finally have a winner without going to double overtime.
Well done, Linda. Woo! Excellent work. So not only is Linda the returning champion from last time, she also wins again this time. Congratulations, Linda. Excellent, excellent work.
Way to go.
So you get amazing, amazing gifts. You've already won the complimentary pro membership for you and up to 3 team members. If you would like to add more team members.
Can I share the prize with my contestants here? Can they get
You could if you would like to.
Wow.
And Sunny seems absolutely delighted by that idea. So we'll talk about that at the end. We'll work out details, but complimentary pro membership, $500 value. From Sean David, who's an automation specialist, he's offering level 1 certification, a value of $500. So we'll talk to Sean and see if you can share that prize. And Linda, I know you're going to take the fudge for yourself.
Get up to my veins.
You were really only in it for the fudge. So Linda gets her choice of my fudge company, Fudge Face Fudge, any kind of fudge she wants, and it's going to be mailed to her doorstep in sunny Vancouver, and she's going to choose whatever kind of fudge she wants. Hopefully it will go through the mail a little bit more seamlessly than last time, and you can choose whatever you'd like. So we'll talk about that at the end. But congratulations, Linda. You have taken the reigning champion not just once, but twice.
Two-time champion,
Excellent work.
Linda
Excellent,
Bustos.
excellent work.
Congratulations. Amazing.
Way to go, Linda. Great
Well
job.
done. So our next game show is going to be Thursday, April 18th at 11 a.m. Linda, you're going to be returning and going up against 2 new contestants.
You need to
So
start
let's
paying
see.
her. You need to start paying her.
There you go. Excellent work. So thank you so much to our amazing contestants. It was a lot of fun. I'm a little disappointed. There was a lot less trash talk than I was expecting. So if
They
you
were
want
too
to
nice.
throw in any jabbing
too
comments right now at the end, you're welcome to.
They're too nice. No way. No.
It was a pleasure competing against you.
Definitely.
Great job, everyone. You guys killed it. I would say that. And I'm actually glad that we didn't go into double overtime. I'm happy that we actually got to a point where somebody just won overall. And so it's good to see this now.
Absolutely. And to our amazing attendees that chimed in and came online, thank you so much. It was really great to see you and to have you. And please tune in next time, April 18th. I hope you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll see you next time.
Till next
Bye.
Bye,
time.
everyone.